What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my goofy ass. Like and subscribe. So, there's a bunch of stuff, general video game stuff that I haven't talked about, such as Ubisoft. The general overall movement of the industry. I mean, I touch on that every once in a while, and it's important to look at it because it will determine some of the fates of some of these bigger companies. Looking at you, Sony, PlayStation in particular. But first, I want to talk about Metaphor, ReFantazio. That's how. Yeah, that game. Now, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite game. 10 out of 10, game of the year, all the stuff, right? And I'm looking at the game, I'm playing the game, and I'm like, now I have to, okay, so here's the thing. The game is good, okay? It's good. How good is it? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what. It is a JRPG. Of course it is. You know, it's Atlas, that's what they do. I never played any of the Personas, never played them. I've heard about them, oh, this is the best game, blah, blah. Never played them, right? Okay, so this is my first Atlas JRPG. Now, before, back in the day, you know, pixels, you know, 16-bit and all that, even 8-bit, I played Phantasy Star, the first one. I played Phantasy Star 2. I started 3, didn't finish it. I started 4, didn't finish it. And then I played Phantasy Star Online, which was on that was Dreamcast, right? No, that was Dreamcast. Yeah. And I didn't really like that one that much. I don't know why. I don't know. So I'm more of a old school, not purist, but, you know, the original JRPG, turn-based, I don't know, take your turns, turn-based stuff. The thing I like about Metaphor is that it's both. So you can either you press the squad, and then you go into turn-based, and I think you get more experience that way. I'm not too sure. I wasn't paying attention. The numbers flash so fast, I don't know. Or you could just do the action and just kill them real quick. I have it on story mode, so I'm just killing them easy because I'm like, I just want to kind of know what the story is. I understand the mechanics of turn-based, and you get a tough fight, and you fight them, and then you get better, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I understand that. I don't need to do that. I want to see what the story is about, so let's go. So that's what I'm doing. And so the story, okay, first off, I agree with Boom. Boom said this morning. Or was it yesterday? I don't remember when he had actually recorded it. But he said that the voice acting, the English dub voice acting on this game is excellent. And I'm going to have to agree with him. I'm like, yo, this is what it was originally. It sounds so good. It's like, yo, this is better than some anime. That's how good it is. I was like, wow, this is really good voice work. The English stuff. I haven't even listened to the Japanese, I guess it's Japanese, I would assume, Sega. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, that's cool. I would say, and the anime parts, great, awesome animation. I don't know what production studio did the animation, but it was really good. It's close to top tier, the best animation ever created. It's not obviously, but it's really, really good. It's like if that was an anime on Netflix, you would watch it, basically. Yeah. Or Crunchyroll or whatever. I don't like to say Crunchyroll because Sony. And so the production value is all dope, up until you get to like the matter-of-fact gameplay part of it. And then it steps a little bit back. First, there's like zero anti-aliasing. So I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, right? And I don't know if it's optimization. I don't know if it's just a choice so that they don't have any slowdown, because there's no slowdown. There's no, slowdown. No frame skips and nothing like that. It's just smooth butter, fast action from menu to thing to thing. It goes back. I'm like, that's cool. And that's probably why, because I'm looking at the screen and jaggies everywhere. They're everywhere, the jaggies. Now, this is just in gameplay, obviously. And so, but it doesn't bother me. I'm just like, okay, it's a choice, obviously, but, why? Technically, why wouldn't they put, like, anti-aliasing or something on it? Who knows? The controls are really good. I would say that as far as the gameplay side of it, the best part of it is the controls are super responsive, like, because I'm running around slashing fools, like, right? And so it's quick. It's like an action game for real, because I have it on super easy. Like, like okie doke. I have it on the hip hop gamer setting, and so if you know, you know, back in the day. Anyway, I like it, and I'm contemplating. I don't know. Maybe I'm 3 hours in. Maybe I'm not. I think it's a 10-hour demo or something. Which is like, that's good. And I'm contemplating to myself. Like, I'm 3 hours in. I'm still gonna go back and play it more. So I think I'm gonna buy it. Pretty much. I mean, it all depends on how the story goes. So right now I'm in the mines still, trying to get to what's his face, who killed the king. The story's pretty good. I was like, you know, I'd heard people say, oh, it's about intrigue and political this and that, and it's all but that. And I was like, all right. And I see what the story is. I'm like, oh, okay. So this dude first killed the prince, and now he killed the king, and it's like, everybody in the court is like, who would kill the king? And he's like the obvious, but nobody's saying anything or whatever, because I guess they're all scared of him, and they're like, oh, he's the only thing that the people look up to, and for the army and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, but I'm with my old school general dudes with me in my party. He's like, that motherfucker going to die. We gotta assassinate his fool ass. And I was like, all right, cool. And so it was me and the dude I met online at the recruiting station, and the old dude we met in the, I forgot where he was, and my fairy. She's cool. I like the fairy. I like Tinkerbell. She's dope. She ain't no powers though. I wish she would just do like a little sprinkle, like heal me or something. I mean, maybe that's later on, because she has a mage archetype, but she doesn't do anything. So maybe she's a buff. I don't even know, because I'm so like beginning. Like I think I'm level 7 or something. I'm like nothing. And also I skip a lot of the fights. So like I said, I don't know if you get as much experience if you don't do the actual fights and stuff. So I'm gonna probably do that more. But anyway, it tapped into my nostalgia of turn-based RPGs, put it that way. And plus with the additional option to just go in and hack and slash real quick, I like it. And so I can tell, like, okay, so JRPGs and like Western RPGs, like, you know, Fallout and Starfield and Elder Scrolls and all that stuff. Let's say Elder Scrolls is the closest analog or comparison. They are different. Okay, so if you like Western RPGs, that's your jam. You probably won't like JRPGs. But if you like both, or if you grew up with the JRPG and you kind of fell off, like I did, and you kind of stumble into this, and you're like, oh, okay, I remember this stuff, yeah. Because like Final Fantasy isn't even a JRPG anymore. It is, because the company that makes it is Japanese, but it's not the traditional formula. You know, the turn-based. Even if it was like, what was that called? I forgot what it was called, but what was the name of the game that did it? It was like real time with the timer. We go and you have the anyway, whatever. The name will come to me later when the video's over. But anyway, it is different, and I like it because it's more about it's more like playing action chess, if you will, or something. You know, it's cool. I don't have to explain turn-based games to you, but it's a good game, and the music's good. I still think the music in Dragon Quest 3 was really, really, really. It's kind of like I like that better, but the music in there is pretty good. It's pretty good. And one of them is like, I don't know what. I think it was the dungeon theme, or it wasn't when you're fighting, but I think it was one of the dungeon themes. And there's like a choral in the back, but then there's like a dude and he's rapping in Japanese and stuff or something, or chanting. It sounded like a rap. I was like, what is this guy? But it's like low. It's not like, you know, like prominent. Anyway, yeah, Metaphor is dope. If you get a chance, you got Xbox. I don't know if it's on PlayStation, like a free demo on PlayStation. If it is, go play it there. But as far as like, I think yesterday and the day before, past 2 days, I've seen a commercial for Metaphor many, many times. And I see the commercial, and I see at the end, Xbox. I don't see it. It doesn't say play it on Game Pass because it's not in Game Pass. But yeah, so they got the marketing, and for Mighty Queef and all these other idiots out there crying about that, just shut up and play the game. How about that? You know, and when Sony gets the marketing right. Like when Sony had the marketing rights for Call of Duty all those years, were you crying then? No, you weren't. You should have been, because historically speaking, the PlayStation isn't good at first-person shooters. That's not, the Xbox is the shooter box. Remember, that's what the people say. Oh, y'all are good for first-person shooters, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's been, that was the criticism of the Xbox for ever since its creation. But no, Mighty Queef didn't say nothing about that. Because, that's all he is a vagina fart in the wind, I guess. Who made up the name Queef? I want to know. Is that French or something? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's a cool game. Play it if you wanna. Ubisoft. Ubisoft. A lot of people are dumb because they're misconstruing what's really happening with Ubisoft and Tencent. They're like, oh no, Tencent's gonna buy Ubisoft and blah blah blah. I was like, that's not. Look, I'm a dummy, and even I understand what's happening. Okay, Tencent is not buying Ubisoft. Tencent has the money. Ubisoft has some money. The Guillaume brothers. The Guillaume. Wow. The how do you say it? Guillemot. I think that's his name. Anyway, the G brothers. They have money too. Obviously, it's in stocks and stuff like that. But what is happening is that the Guillemot brothers, Yves and them, and Tencent are going to combine their monies and their forces to buy back all of the stock options and such from all of the people who have them in order to become private. That's what they're trying to do. Not Tencent's going to buy Ubisoft, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're trying to do, become private. So they can buy all that stuff back with, whatever money they have, get loans, blah, blah, blah. Tencent probably has more on-hand cash than the Guillemots, the Guillaumes, than Benson. But, we'll see. They're in trouble only because bad press and making mediocre games, but putting too much money in. And that's a trend that, Ubisoft has fallen into it, as of recent, and Sony has fallen into it as well. They're making mediocre to poor games, but they're putting a lot of money into it to make them look like they're high budget, not poor games. But in the end, the gameplay and the quality of the gameplay will always outshine every other shiny little pixel that you put on a game. So if your game is whack, it's not because it doesn't look good. It's because it's a whack game. The gameplay is whack. The character, whatever about it is whack. And you can shine a turd, but it's still a turd. So how you can make it the most beautiful game on the planet, it's still whack. And some people say, well, that's what Hellblade 2 was. I was like, well, sure, that's a fair criticism, but Hellblade 2 is not one of these. It's not technically a AAA banger, if you will. It's more of an indie game that really looks good. That's what the first one was, and it's also handling a topic that isn't handled usually in video games, and it's not a happy topic. And so that's why it turns off people. It turns me off in a certain extent. And it's the same reason why I don't like The Last of Us 2, because it's a little too dark. There is a balance to be had with games like that. And I think they did a better job with Hellblade 2. I want to say it is more fantastical. They have the giants, even though the giants are actually real. Or is it? Because in the end, I'm like, wait a second. But then in the end, she was going to go kill the giant, but the giant ended up being, spoilers, it's the slave king. Whatever, the dude that was with you in the party, his dad. You got to go kill him. And I didn't realize that. I think I already finished the game at one point, and I thought I didn't, and I went back and I fought him again and finished. I was like, oh, that was the end. I don't remember. But yeah, the end was, I won't call it lackluster, but it was definitely like, I wish it was more. I appreciate it because what Hellblade 2 was kind of like, how do I describe it? like season 2 of a show. Like if Hellblade 1 was a show, then Hellblade 2 would be season 2. And that's what it felt. And maybe an 8 episode, like a short season. And it was focused. It was like, okay, it was about Senua. She still has her her mental thing, right? But now she's come to terms with it in a certain respect, because it's not really about her and her journey as so much as it's about her seeing these other people in a situation that she wants to help them and she wants to free them and stuff. Meanwhile, she still has all of the I don't know if you call them issues or just her personality traits. And I think in that respect, where they introduce new characters and then they go in a different direction and she has a different purpose, it's a little, I think it's part of the evolution of the character and in that genre, if you will. And I think that the project Mara, that's what it's called, right? That I always said that since it's the same actor, Melina her, Melina J. I think, like I said, I hope that character, I guess her name is Mara, I don't know, is tied to Senua in some way. Either she's a long relative of hers. That's why they look the same, great grandmama, something like that. Or Senua is part of her Mara's psychosis, whereas maybe she goes to sleep and she has Senua dreams, and the dream is Hellblade and Hellblade 2. She's like, I keep having this dream about I'm a warrior, and then there's a giant, and then there's a volcano level, and then I don't know, and then there was a dude, and then I fought his dad, and there was a giant, and then everything, I don't know, and then there was caves. I had a crazy dream. She's talking to her girlfriend at the coffee shop. I had a crazy dream, girl. And she's like, man, I know that's crazy. What you be eating is, how girls be talking, they be having coffee and brunching, they be at brunch, they be talking, imagine if Mara was like, let me tell you something. I'm like, oh, hell no. That would be hilarious. But everybody be like, no, you can't do that. She's not, nope. No, you can't do that. But, so that's what I think. I think Mara is connected to Senua in some way, because that game is I think it's a psychological thriller, but it still has the theme is mental illness, I believe, or psychosis or something. So I am definitely interested in that, mainly because Unreal is dope, right? Unreal Engine, and I want to see it more in real world applications. Yes, they did the Matrix demo and stuff. I was like, all right, that's cool, whatever. But like what they showed years ago, it was like, they took, photo scans and they recreated this person's apartment. And we didn't know. We were like, oh man, look, that's like cool. That's a person's apartment. That's real life. It was in the Unreal. I'm like, oh hell, I went back and watched it. I was like, wait a second, there's aliasing. I saw aliasing. I was like, and that's a telltale sign that it's not. It's in engine something. So I was like, yo. And now with Unreal Engine 5, by the time that game comes out, Unreal Engine 6 or whatever, I'm like, yo, that game's gonna look ridiculous. And so I'm like, a studio like Ninja Theory is not one of those like, well, we got to make all the money and blah, blah, blah. They tried that with Bleeding Edge, try to do a multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. That's not what their strength is. They make quality games regardless. Like, because like if you look at the animation and the gameplay and everything, Bleeding Edge, top notch. It just wasn't vibing with people. Same thing with Concord, just not vibing with people. People aren't feeling it. So except, Bleeding Edge was more successful. And Ninja Theory is the type of studio that Microsoft needs to keep nurturing, keep feeding them money, because what they're doing, them and the coalition are more like workhorses, workhorses. They put in the work, they make the games, and they make crazy nice games, and they're like on the boots doing the thing. Ninja Theory is like the experimental crazy people who are like, yeah, let's do this. I'm like, wait, how that's never been done before. So why can't we do that? That's what they are. They're the crazy experimental nerdy people who are like doing crazy stuff, and no one is beat as far as fidelity. Ninja Theory is the top. They are milking, they are squeezing the most juice out of that engine. Nobody else has done that. Name another Unreal Engine game that looks as good as Hellblade 2. Now Kojima's whatever OD. That might be something that some people say now it stands for overdrive. I heard before it was overdose. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. OD. Now those facial captures and examples were, I was like, that looks real. That's the future of video games. And so, I mean, Kojima's games are. I mean, if you would have said, hey, yeah, Kojima used to work for Ninja Theory, I'd say, yeah, I could believe it. But he has a long history, obviously, which is outside of that. And so I think he is more, I think he's definitely creative in the different things he does with video games and the technologies that are existing at the time of his ideas. So in that respect, I give him a little bit more props, even though I'm not feeling a lot of the stuff gameplay-wise that he does, because it's just not fun per se. It's different, and it's an experiment, and we need creators like that to show us where the boundaries are, or to break through to give other creators ideas, like say, you know what, remember when Kojima did that crazy thing in the game? Let's do that, except let's do it better, and blah blah blah. And that's how, you know, you iterate on different ideas and make just better games. This is for us to have super dope games for in the future. And so Kojima gets props. Like I said, I don't really enjoy his games that much, but he's good. And that's the same with Ninja Theory. They're good, and they need to stay around. We need to have creatives creating, regardless of the budget. Regardless, their games are usually smaller anyway, so they'll get a meager budget, or maybe, you know, maybe $100 million or something at most. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends, because they don't have a huge team. So, you know, what is it, 30-something people now? Maybe 50 people at the team for Hellblade 2. They had to staff up. So it's not that many people, so they don't have to pay them as much. It just depends on how long it takes for them to put the games out. And with the tools of Unreal, it takes less time because the tools are there. They don't have to worry about the engine. Halo. So I'm glad that Unreal is getting its shine. Now I just hope that Epic can keep up with the demand. And I hope that they can optimize that engine further, because there are some shortcomings. There's the stutter. I think that stutter, I don't know what that stutter is, because I remember I think Unreal Engine 3 had issues with I don't know if it's shared a compilation, or, you know, the level will load. This happened in the Gears of War games, the early ones. The game would load, and then the shaders would load after, and you would see it. Everything would be blurry, and then everything would pop in. That was a common. But I don't know if, and they would say with the first frame, when the scene changed, the first frame would be messed up. You know, maybe no texture, something, and then it would pop in like the second frame. So I'm like, okay. So wait, did they fix that? And the fix was to cause a stutter, because every time a scene changes, there's a stutter. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. There seems to still be that same issue, but it's different now. So I'm not an engine dude. I'm not that technological. No, that's not a word. I'm not that technologically enhanced, informed. So, you know, I don't know. I would say that those two things are connected, but they probably aren't. But, you know, whatever. There's smarter people who are working on that problem. And as time goes on, I'm sure stuff like that will be worked out. I don't know what the actual issue is. Maybe it's just bandwidth. Maybe they just needs to have, there's a certain bandwidth that is needed for the fidelity that they're going for. And so once the bandwidth gets to a certain height or a certain speed, then, you know, that wouldn't be a problem anymore. Maybe, I don't know. So we'll see. I don't think it's a big deal right now, because the only people who are complaining about that is like Digital Foundry, and then the ponies come out, oh my God, it's a stutter, blah blah blah. But of course, it's, you know, it's like Until Dawn the remake. Speaking of Until Dawn the remake, oh my gosh. So, it seems that Until Dawn the remake is hot trash garbage. Now, not in the way that, like, the original game wasn't. It was just, you know, I'm not speaking on the actual game or game content or the acting or anything like that. I'm speaking about the performance. Performance is hot trash garbage. They changed a little bit of here, a little bit of there. And as far as gameplay, as far as gamers playing it, there aren't people playing it. Nobody's playing it. Less players than Concord. So you know if you got done out by Concord, you really are bad. Bad. You really suck. If Concord beats you, then you're in trouble. So yeah. I saw a couple of side-by-sides. I'm like, okay, yeah, they made some changes to some of the models, or maybe all the models, I don't know. And they changed the lighting, and I was like, and they're selling this thing for $60, right? Nah, B. Sony's out their mind. You know, I don't know when they're gonna learn, but whatever. Anyway, sorry, tangent. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Y'all listen, like, subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Unreal, the Unreal Engine, whatchamacallit, the Renaissance or whatever. They've always been around. What you think if you've been playing Metaphor, ReFantazio? Let me know if y'all like it, where you at, are you gonna buy it? I think I'm gonna end up buying it. And Until Dawn remake, why? But I appreciate y'all. Hey, it's talk to you. Tilt the weight.